Hi! In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw captivating, sparkling anime eyes using layer modes. First, prepare your character's line art. Before filling in the base colors, use the lasso tool to separate the eye area into a new layer. This will make it easier to color the eyelashes later. Once that's done, create a new separated layer above the skin layer for the sclera. Fill it with white, then add a grayish blue or red shadow to the upper area. Next, select the eye line art layer we separated just now. Fill the lashes with a dark color, then lock the layer pixels. Choose a lighter color and softly paint the inner and outer corners of the eyelashes. Now let's focus on the left character's eyes. Create a new layer above the sclera for the eyeball, then pick a dark and a light color. Select the eyeball area and use the gradient tool to apply the base color. If you want to try different colors, press Ctrl+U to conveniently shift the hue. After that, create a new layer above the eye layer and clip it below. Set the layer mode to multiply. Use a slightly darker color to draw the pupil in the center. Alternatively, use the Ellipse subtool to draw a circle, fill it, and transform it to adjust the size and position. Then, draw the upper eyelid shadow, since the light source is coming from above. Next, create a clipping layer on top and set it to Add Glow, or any lighting mode you like. Slightly shift the color wheel for variation, then use a brighter, more saturated color to airbrush the lower part of the eye. You can use the hue slider to quickly test different colors, and lower the layer opacity if the result feels too saturated. Next, create another clipping layer and set it to Add Glow. To draw the iris highlight, use the Ellipse tool to make a circular selection, then pick a saturated color to fill the selection. With that in place, add a layer mask and use a soft airbrush eraser to gently erase the center while keeping the edges sharp. You can apply motion blur from the filter if you prefer a softer glowing effect. To add more color variation to the eye, create a layer set to overlay mode and use an airbrush to paint in different colors smoothly. Then, create a new clipping layer and set the layer mode to Add, or any similar lighting mode. Now we can draw the sparkle effects inside the eye. You can draw the sparkles as circles, ovals, diamonds, stars, or any shape you like. Alternatively, you can download sparkle brushes from the Clip Studio Asset Store. Make sure there is one main sparkle that is the largest and brightest, so it clearly reads as the primary highlight of the eye. Use the lasso tool to select individual sparkles, then use the transform tool to rotate and resize them for more variation. Once we finish drawing the sparkles, lock the layer pixels and hover the color wheel to pick different colors and paint over them to add more color variation. Lastly, create a clipping layer set to Add Glow to enhance the vibrance of the sparkles. I prefer using a complementary color for the sparkles, so they stand out from the iris. Once everything is done, group the layers neatly. Next, I'll show you another way to draw a different sparkling eye. To begin, create a new layer and start by filling the eye with a light base color. Then, create a clipping layer on top and set it to multiply. Pick a dark color, draw only the pupil silhouette, and enhance the borderline of the eye. Once that's done, go back to the base layer, lock the layer pixels, and use a soft brush to paint the upper shadow and add a saturated color to the pupil. Next, create a new clipping layer and set it to Add. Use the lasso tool and an airbrush to paint the light pattern on the iris. You can also add some subtle light pattern to the upper shadow area, but keep the brightness slightly lower. create another add layer and use a hard brush to add fine details to the iris. After that, use the fingertip tool to softly smudge the edges toward the pupil. To increase the vibrance of the iris, create a new layer on top and set it to overlay. Pick a saturated color and gently airbrush over the iris. Next, create a clipping layer set to add and draw the sparkle effects. Slightly hover over the color wheel and pick different colors to vary the sparkle tones. Make sure only one sparkle remains the brightest as the main highlight. After that, use radial blur effect from the filter to slightly blur the sparkles. Lastly, create a new clipping layer with add mode to give the sparkles a warm vibrance. Feel free to use the hue slider to quickly test different color modes, as it's very convenient for experimenting. And that's a wrap! Hope this helps you paint beautiful, sparkling anime eyes. One last tip before you go. Try this technique to make your sparkling anime eyes look soft and watery at the same time. Once you are satisfied with the colors, duplicate the eye folders and the eyelash layer as a backup. Then merge both duplicated folders and layer into one single layer. Bring the merged eye layer to the top and lock the merged layer's pixels. Hide the backup folders and layers underneath. Then use the surrounding colors to paint over the dark outline. Once that's done, unlock the pixels. Then, use the blur tool to soften the eye edges. You can also go back to the sclera layer and gently blur the sclera shadow. For the eyelashes, blur only the inner and outer corners while keeping the center sharp. You can also use the fingertip tool to gently smudge the eyelashes. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching.